Hi. Oh, we are live. How wonderful is that? And so Love Speaks Love today is coming for the first time from the Love Speaks Love page because, as happened last week, we couldn't go live from Zoom. And rather than go to YouTube, I had the idea that I would use StreamYard. So I've never used StreamYard before. So I will share this from the Love Speaks Love page to my personal page. And Denise has been very techie just now. And all right, Love Speaks Love. So just bear with us. And I will see if I can share it to my own page because presumably people will be looking for us there. All right, people are messaging me and I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to be there. Okay. So there it is. Oh, share. Oh, yes. It's all coming together. This is just wonderful.
I can't believe it.
Just bear with us. I don't know if anyone's watching live yet. I'm really rather delighted that we are actually live and that this worked out.
Yeah, there was quite a few different options that we could have done, but being live is a whole other energy.
My headphones are slipping off my head. Alrighty, so let me turn my phone down and make sure I get no feedback. Yay. Okay. I can see the comments. Nobody's live with us yet, but I'm sure they will be soon. Oh, that's probably me. I was going to say one person's with us, but yeah, it's probably me. No, we have more than one person. Thank you, people, for joining us. And breathe. So for some reason, Zoom wasn't letting us on Facebook. So it's been a little bit of a challenge. Actually, no, it wasn't a challenge at all, was it?
No, you were very smooth.
It actually went really smoothly.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the back of my mind was the word StreamYard. So yeah, here we are, live on Facebook from StreamYard. So thank you, StreamYard. It was either this or go live on YouTube. So here we are. And just waiting for people to come in. Oh, I was going to change my top, wasn't I? Because I'm blending with the curtains behind. That's all right.
No, we can see now. I can see you now. The lights on and everything.
I'm not going to do that now. Not now.
Well, just for, might be a good show to do, though.
Okay, so we normally start the show with a heart-to-heart connect. And as my heart has been racing, trying to get this sorted, I am particularly delighted for this. So, let us all bring our awareness to our heart space in the center of our chest. And let us breathe in love. Breathing love into every cell of your body. Filling up your aura. Filling the building that you're in. Spreading the love to the town, cities, the countries. Let's spread that love to every place on the planet. Sending love to all hearts, to all the trees, and to all the waters. And joining all of our hearts together, all of us watching this live or on the replay. And let us join our hearts now to the heart of Gaia. And I'm visualizing roots growing down from the base of my spine and the soles of my feet. I'm going deeper and deeper into the earth, all the way down, connecting with the new earth templates, the crystal grid of energy, and with the crystalline diamond heart of Gaia. And feeling her love, her recognition, and her gratitude for all of us and all that we do and all that we are. And connecting our hearts now to the heart of the sun. And to the heart of Source Creator, the great cosmic heart. And feeling that strong connection between my heart and yours, Alessandra. So if your eyes are closed, just opening them whenever you're ready. I'll do that again. Alrighty. Okay, so Alessandra was a guest earlier in the year, in August, I think the beginning of August. And thanks to Marianne Savino as well for introducing us in the first place. Thank you, Marianne. And we would, even if we weren't doing the event on Saturday, we would have been connecting soon anyway. And we've been connecting a lot since we first did. And it's been feeling amazing. So welcome back to Love Speaks Love, sweetheart. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for being you, for being here on Earth now, and for doing all that you're offering. So I'm very happy to kind of meet you again. And it's like, oh, you're in this form. Okay. So thank you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that would be interesting, actually, to have a feel into where we've connected before and how. So we were both talking before the show, and I've been feeling very groggy the last few days. Good, but quite foggy in my head. And it's felt like there's been a lot of energy coming through. Now, that seems to be the case just about every day at the moment, but it did go up a notch or two. And we were talking about timelines. So do you want to share anything about what you were saying before about the timelines?
I'm going to try. Okay. Sometimes I feel really intense things and I feel like I'm the only person experiencing them. Then I talk to you and my healer friends, and then we're all basically experiencing the same thing, but saying it in different ways. And so this might be one of those situations, but I'll explain it through my lens. As far as the mood goes for the past several days, I could say that I have been actually feeling high and happy and very expanded. But in the psychic way or in the intuitive way, I was like, what the heck is going on? Because to say that I was feeling ungrounded is like saying it's absolutely too simplistic. But what I was feeling was all of these timelines and all of these potentials. It's as though I was floating above the earth, just a few feet above the earth, and I was looking down and I could see duplicates of earth and pathways that maybe it was and is appropriate that they're all overlapping now, but there's so much potential. And again, I felt it very deeply for me. Where will I live? What will I be doing? And a lot of what I'm doing frequency wise will still be happening, but I have so many options going on. But it was exhilarating, but it was, I don't want to use the word terrifying, but it was so new. And it's like, wait a minute, how many lifetimes ago was I able to navigate reality in 3D in this way? So it was like an old familiar feeling, but it's like, oh, we're doing it here now. Okay, we're doing this. So it was requiring me to step up and be more, dare I say, more multidimensional human here now. So it was requiring me to be bigger, better here now and to respond. And basically, I think, if I can say this in this whole mouthful, maybe we've been all navigating being zombies and zombified and being pressured by different mind programs, and that now we're breaking up and out, and when we get unleashed to see our own power and then to navigate the world through our own powers, being multidimensional, it might be a bit freaky and off-putting at first, but at the same time exhilarating. The end.
Yeah, awesome. And excuse me, I was listening then, but I just wanted to share this along to a few groups. And which reminds me, if anyone feels to share, please do. Um, yeah, that's really interesting. And it does feel like we're much more capable, as you say, of kind of navigating much more now. Like our skills are going up, what we're able to do. Our senses are so much stronger. And I think what we are about to do on Saturday as well, because it's like we're given pieces of this. We're given, we knew it was to do with the Star Faeries, and I'll ask you after this point about the Star Faeries and your kind of take on them as well. Um, but it feels like, initially we were told some stuff, some body stuff, some Albion stuff. But it's like we're being drip fed. It's like we're given a little bit of information. We both received a bit more information before this call. And I think some of it will actually just be given to us straight on Saturday as well. Um, yeah, so feel free to speak to that if there's anything that you want to add to that.
Which part? Well, we've got the event Saturday. You just mentioned body, and then you mentioned Star Fairies. So which part do we want to unravel right now?
Star Fairies.
Okay. All right. So ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed with drawing fairies. And, aliens weren't as big back then. But anytime I would draw a fairy, it would always end up being an alien fairy, star fairy. So I've been obsessed with this topic forever, but it's been popping in a lot lately. And the way that I can express it is, I feel that a long time ago, humanity was quite different from how we see, sense, feel it now. And a lot of people use the words Lemuria, and I can use the words Lemuria too, meaning another time space before Atlantis, where humanity was more fairy like, was more amorphous, was more shapeshifter, more connected with plants. I believe that even Edgar Casey might have mentioned this. That a long time ago, before Atlantis, and I'm not sure if he called it Lemuria, that humans or human consciousness would go into plants and become more plant-like, then come out, go into a rock and be more rock-like. And then at some point, maybe we slipped, if that's the right word, and became more dense. But I have a feeling that maybe we, humanity, was more connected to the stars at that time, we'll call it Lemuria, and was more a soul or a frequency that was connected to the ecosystem as it was back then, with big wise trees and huge rivers, and everything was so alive, and that somewhere we split off, and there is a giant cycle that is concluding right now, and it's obvious the whole world is sort of shut down and resetting, so there's just a huge cycle that is happening. Is it 26,000 years? Is it a Kali Yuga? Is it much longer than that, or are there cycles within a larger cycle that are concluding? But there's this deep feeling that we split off from the biggerness that we could be in our energetic field or in our form, in our essence, in our consciousness. And so there's this feeling that we are to reawaken, come out of our zombiehood and connect to this part that I'm calling for now the Star Fairy. But it might also be, Star Fairy might be a term that is, what's the word? Harvesting. So Star Fairy could be a word that is harvesting the wisdom that we're losing of the native people. A lot of natives all over the world for thousands of years, Aboriginals, Native Americans, everybody are always connecting to the stars, the ancestors. They are us, we are them. So there's some, stories and prophecies of star beings coming down and they are us and we are them. There's that. So there's that wisdom. And then being connected to plants or the totem animals, connecting to brother bear or brother wolf and knowing that the wolf has aspects of us and us of them. So this whole interconnectivity, we need new language, and this is the language I'm coming up with Star Fairy, to remind us that there's something that we're wanting to pick up. And there's so many of us that are doing a lot of bits and pieces of all of this, and some will follow only some or will hop around. But I'm trying so hard to explain that we have an incredible magic inside of us, and it might be linked to ancient things of the past, and it might be able to fit in with this concept of Star Fairy. So it means that our extrasensory powers, our superpowers are coming back line, and it's our right, it's our goddess or God-given right.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And it's really interesting feeling into the term Star Fairy as well, and feeling into, of course, there will be fairies on other planets. And to me, the fairies are beings of light. We call them fairies, but they are beings of light. And to me, they're a higher frequency than we are. And as you said, very connected to nature, very connected to the rocks, the plants, the trees. And my feeling is as well that they are instrumental in the seasons. They're instrumental in the changes of nature in the seasons, the ripening of fruit, the growing of flowers. And I can't, from that, because it's quite linear as well, part of me just imagines a fairy doing something to the plant that makes things happen. But I realize that's quite a linear, that's quite a linear way, and quite a childlike way of looking at things. But there's something in that. There's something about the coding. There's something about affecting the frequencies of things that therefore make things happen. I also feel I've just got a real strong buzz from the birds there as well, that the birds particularly are really instrumental in this, that their singing, etc., has another effect on the energy planetarily and on nature. So everything's working in harmony. And I feel that we as humans are moving into that state of harmony with all those. I know so many people are having much stronger connections with nature. I was sitting by a tree yesterday and this wren came really close and was kind of looking at me singing. And it just feels like there's less distortion in my field, therefore they're not pushed away as much. And not only is there less distortion, but there's more weaving, there's more binding with me and nature. I am part of nature much more than I used to be. There's not that separation between me and nature. So it feels in that way as well that these activations on Saturday are going to kind of bring that together more, bring that closer. And if we look, okay, something's dropping in and I'm not quite sure how to word this. But if we look at Earth as a system, and there are fairies in that system, then our universe is a system, our Milky Way is a system, our galaxy is a system as well. So why could there not be beings of light that, in the same way that fairies are affecting nature, that there are beings of light working with frequencies and codes and keys in that universe? And we could call them fairies, we could call them, the shining ones, the she, there's many names for this that I feel encompasses all of it. Over to you.
Huh? Yeah. Yes. So if we continue with this, you opened a whole big thing up because I feel like with many things. So, for example, the Eskimos, don't they have 22 different words for snow? For us, ignorant people, there's just snow. But you break it down and there's all those variations in the snow. So I think we're using two words. You've got star, we've got fairy, we got star beings or aliens, ETs, star beings, beings that are on another planet. But that could be broken down. So going back to fairy and star fairy, maybe there's some fairies that are only with the nature of one planet. But if I really feel that I'm a star fairy, I'm connected to many other planets. So there might be these beings that have different roles. Maybe there's beings that are working with the harmonies and reweaving the harmony in the whole Milky Way galaxy, and other ones that are weaving communications, let's pretend, between Earth and Venus. I mean, I work a lot with Lady Venus, and I keep seeing her as a very, well, for me, Lady Venus is the consciousness, the collective consciousness of planet Venus, the star Venus. And there's a lot of frequencies, beings, trees, ecosystem there. And for me, she's a giant queen, star fairy queen. So there might be some fairies that are between Venus and Earth communicating that way. So there's a lot of differentiations. I think you got something to say. No? No? All right. I'm almost finished with that one. But I think that there's some beings, just to differentiate, I feel like there's some beings that are not star fairies and that are very much more of a frequency of we are Orion beings and we're warriors and we're from the multi systems of Orion. That's just an example. And then there's other beings like, oh, we're Arcturians and we're star fairies of Arcturus because we've merged with Arcturus and we're with the nature. And or we're Pleiadians and we're working with the different differentiations of what nature appears on our 400 stars in the Pleiadian system. So there's a lot of variety, and it's like, where do you connect? And I think the bottom line is, if we're talking about star fairies, well, there's so many different kinds. Okay, so my star fairy me, I feel really obsessed with crystals. Just to give you an example, I have one big guy over here. Can you see him? I have this around me. And then I've got this new little friend, obsessed with crystals. Love you. And just to give you an example, there's a crystal bowl over here people have seen, and a crystal heart. I must be some crystal fairy, which is like symbolizing something else. So I feel star fairy might be talking to us about different kinds of magic that we have innate within us and that we can define it in our own way. So for me, the star fairy, it's a crystal star fairy, but it means something. I'm really technological, you know what I mean? Very technological, very working with sacred geometries and harmonizing them. So there's something to that, and there's something about specifically us today talking about our body, star fairy interface, and Earth. And I think that that's what you were saying with how you were connecting more with the bird, and that there was less interference between you and nature, and that's a big key.
Yeah, and something that just dropped in then is that I think a lot of us on this journey who are kind of more conscious, awakened, whatever kind of word you want to use, I just got something dropping in about the amount of distortion that's on the planet, which in some ways maybe even less than there was, a few hundred years ago, and in some ways there may be more. But our fine frequency bodies, there's a big differential between the frequency of the overall frequency of the planet with all the distortions in it and our physical bodies. And I wonder if that has something to do with the amount of conditions such as fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, ME, that kind of thing. I wonder if there's something linked to that as well. And that something dropped in when you were speaking about the multidimensional aspects of fairies, which I'd never considered. You know, it's only relatively recently-ish that I've been connecting with my multidimensional selves and recognizing that they're all going on at the same time and that they're all kind of coming together in this now moment as well, more than ever before. And I wonder if likewise fairies are multidimensional and actually have many aspects on different star systems as well.
I think some do and some don't.
Mm.
And so then you say, this is a fairy from Blanc, and then this is a fairy from da 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 da. I feel maybe some people are more grounded and some people might be more multidimensional. And so I think we start falling into roles, right? I feel like a lot of things play different roles in us.
Yeah. And back to what I was touching on before about our bodies and the lymphatics. So it feels the right time to kind of move into that area now. So Alessandra and I met up last week, and we've both recently been working on lymphatics in our bodies. So the lymphatics connect, there are nodes in the body, lymph nodes, and I feel that those are kind of like crystalline activation points. And my feeling was within my own body that my lymphatics felt really sluggish, and that no matter how much fluid I was drinking, it was like there was a barrier between the fluid that was coming into my body, not fully going into the lymphatics and being able to flush it properly. So we did some work last week that was linked to that as well, and kind of like opening a dam, a gateway that was then allowing the fluid that comes into the body to fully flush and flush out the lymphatic system and really give it a clean, because it feels like it needs that. It feels slow and it feels sluggish. And as we're becoming more crystalline as well, it feels like that needs to be cleansed a lot more. And so we touched on before, when we were speaking before the call, about the link between our fluids and the planetary fluids. And I might hand over to you at this point, if you can remember or feel into again what was coming through for you at that point.
So right before this call, we were tuning in, communicating together, and getting maybe similar interfacing downloads. And the visual that I got, which I'll pick up right now, is that I feel that on Earth, a lot of us are being challenged with, some of us call mystery illness, some of us are really sick. Basically, illnesses that I wouldn't think are because of age or old age. There are things that are happening to us that don't make sense. So a lot of other healers are calling these ascension symptoms, and they have quite a wide range of interfering with daily function. So we're getting down to really big things. In my case, I had undiagnosed situation that still has no official diagnosis. I believe it was lymphatic fluid that was not going where it was supposed to go. And my guides kept telling me interstitial fluid. So I think that means in between the cells.
Yeah.
But Denise is a nurse, she would know, or was a nurse. So I basically had blubbery knees where I could no longer walk. I had to walk, slither like a snake on the floor. I had to get lots of downloads to understand what was going on. I had this excess fluid in all of my body. And the visual that I had for us now, before this call, was the idea of there being clogged energetic streams or water streams, but it's not just water because lymphatic fluid is not just water. And so what I saw is that there's this cloggedness on the earth. We know about the ley lines, we know about rivers, we know about the contamination and dirt of rivers. Many of us may not know that the oceans, a large part of the oceans are now deserts. Ocean desert. Oceanic life is really very much dying. A lot of people, we don't know the dire straits of how the ecosystem is essentially quite a bit collapsing. Don't bring this is why we need to be empowered more. So the visual that I saw is this blubbery gelatinous stream. This could be a specific ley line, but it's an important stream. Actually, basically, it was the lymphatic fluid of the earth. Whatever equivalent is in our body, I saw it on the earth. And that is a sister system. So I'm seeing a lymphatic fluid system on the earth that's a sister system to what we already know, ley lines or energetic grids. And the lymphatic in our body and this specific stream on the earth has something to do with our psychic defense. And that's on an energy level, intuitive level. On a physical level, it has something to do with plasma. Denise, did you want to add something? No. Okay. I'm just double checking. You just so it makes sense that anything we do as healers or people that are waking up, and there's always different degrees of waking up. So it feels funny to say awakened, because awakened to the more you know, the less you know. So there, and it gets more fun. It's like, I'm never going to grow old because there's more to uncover. So as we're healing ourselves, and for a lot of us, this lymphatic situation in our bodies that might be detected or undetected, we're obviously co-healing the earth. There's no separating, and that's where Star Fairy comes in. It's the idea that as a sparkly light being, you are connected to the planet or dimension, the planet for now, that we are currently on. And so we're healing ourselves to heal the planet. So there's something very big going on with clearing the lymphatic system of the earth. And that would mean Glastonbury, is it clogged? Stonehenge, is it used a lot by tourists? Pyramids of Giza, those are the known ones. Those need to be cleaned and cleared. Let's talk about something that I want to do real soon. Mental asylums. Oh, I get shivers thinking about it. All the abuse and things that are happening. Talk about prisons. Those are nodule points that you mentioned that would really need this. And I'm seeing it as an energy healing system, but some part of it also feels very physical on earth. So all of these things and its movement and flow needs to be cleaned and cleared. And again, I feel like a lot of us healers are doing these things. We have crystals, we have grids, we have sacred geometry. A lot of people keep going to Glastonbury Tour to help clean it and clear it. So we are all doing this in little bits and pieces. But whenever I do anything, I'm always asking my guides, where can I fill in the cracks? What can I bring in that is needed and complementary to everything else, but what is upgraded? I have no problems being super weird because I love it. I feel comfortable with it. So it's like, how far can we go forward? But also, how far back in ancient energies can we go in our conscious, subconscious, to eradicate, clean, and clear, to bring it to the light and transmute it? I'm going to stop there. I don't remember what you asked.
No, I can't either. But I'm sure you more than answered it. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so, and we have been talking that there may be a series of these as well. So this may well lead on to, it feels like this is like, not necessarily that you have to do each one, that they'll all be different, but maybe as an overall kind of umbrella planetarily, that what we've been sharing about is a lot of what we're going to be doing. And I know for me, the fluids in the planetary fluids have always been a high priority for me and a lot of other people as well, in terms of wanting to cleanse them and activate them. It's like there are codes, because the water holds the memory of everything that has ever happened on the planet, like everything. It's the same water. It gets recycled. It, you know, goes up into the air. It comes back down again. It's the same water. It comes into our bodies. It's breathed out in water vapor. Um, the fluids are so key, and fluids that I haven't really been thinking about in my own body, like the cerebrospinal fluids. You know, around your heart in the pericardium, there's fluid there that helps the heart beat properly, and you know, all the layers work together. So the fluids are really key in the body. And as I was going to say before, I feel like there's codes waiting to be activated in the fluids as well, that almost like the fluid is going on its own ascension journey, that the fluid is kind of upgrading itself as well. And as you touched on, there being lines of energy, these crystalline plasma lines of energy. And I don't know if this is like a new system. A lot of the work I do with the grid lines, it's bringing in new frequencies, but connecting to the organic matrix of Earth. So peeling away the distortion, but bringing in new frequencies as well, new galactic frequencies, new source codes to upgrade as well. And it does feel to me like there's new ley lines being created in my physical body, but on Earth as well.
I can share a story to give evidence to that. I call it, you mentioned new ley lines in us, and I'm calling them galactic because it feels galactic or new or sparkly. So the short story is not too long ago, I entered into a new space. It was an acupuncture place, and we were doing, it was my first time going there. There was energy healing exchange. So there I am. Oh, it's an acupuncture place and they work with meridians, right? So I was laying down. There was a whole bunch of people. They're all in the team. They either work or were friends of this acupuncture place. I'm there receiving healing, and I can hear someone say, "Hey, wait, would you look at this? Hey, check this out. It's a new ley line." What? And I was like, "Oh, cool." And they're like, "This is very cool. Did you see?" Yeah. And so there's multiple people seeing, sensing the new ley line. And in my head, I thought, I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is. And then I was really happy that I nobody else had the explanation. And days later, it took me the download of they are new ley lines that I'm working with my guides. Not that I'm the only one doing it, but I was able to devise, oh, this is what we're doing. So things are happening, and they are real. It's not just for our experience. Other healers can see and sense it too. So it's happening.
Yay, that's exciting. I like that. You know, when I was a nurse, this is, I'm just going to quickly say this. When I was on a vascular ward and we had to check the pulses of the body, I couldn't tell. I didn't know, but I feel that I was not just feeling the blood pulse, but I was feeling energetic pulses as well. Because I would be like, but I can feel a pulse. And other people are coming and be like, well, I can't feel a pulse there. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of irrelevant, but it just reminded me.
No, it's what you're saying sounds very similar. I had a roommate that would practice shiatsu on me. She would find pulses. It wasn't the blood pulse, it was other streams. So it's a thing.
Yeah.
For some people can completely specialize in that. So yeah. Ah.
Okay, I'm going to change tack slightly and ask you about the Alderbaran Stargate.
Okay.
This is related to what we're doing on Saturday as well, and yeah, I'd love you to share what you
Okay.
know.
Well, big things are happening on Earth now. A lot of us are completely misplaced, hurt. There's a lot of chaos happening. But a lot of us in the healing community are aware that it's a reset and it's an awakening, mass awakening, different levels of awakening, a lot of shedding, a clearing. The big, strong message that I keep seeing is that while there's a lot of focus on darkness, I would say that the darkness is trying to take credit for everything, and that's a lie. A lot of the chaos that's happening is not all because of a negative reason. So, I have been working for the past few years with a new frequency. It just came to me, and the name and the visuals were a Stargate. There's a Stargate. There's this new blessing coming in. And the Stargate was opening, and it took me a long time to tune in and to be able to access it in the last 2 years. And I'm seeing and sensing the Stargate as being located in the Taurus constellation, which is near the Pleiades, but it's not the Pleiades. It's Aldebaran, the brightest star of the Taurus constellation. But I don't know if it's the star itself or there's this giant Stargate right there. And what they've been telling me even um, before this event has been happening, pandemic or zombie apocalypse, is they kept sending this frequency of there's a new frequency, there's new stamina, there's new energy, you can revitalize, you can be rejuvenated. It's like it was almost saying, you guys on earth, all of us, are so pressured and pushed, and there's such a pressure cooker that you don't even get to access your own ecosystem. Do you get charged when you play with a crystal? Yes, but maybe only 10%, where it could have been 100. So it's saying there's new frequency that we are bringing in, or it is accessible. It doesn't matter where it is. And so I kept getting those messages. Then the pandemic hits. Then, it's this zombie apocalypse. I'm like, oh, all that was being shared or said, or all that I was receiving makes more sense now. It's almost like I feel like we're all drowning to a certain degree, and you need that straw to go poke through the surface, and you need the oxygen, but even then it might be clouded. So we need new straws or new systems, new meridians, new ley lines to strengthen. So the Stargate energy, the way I feel it is, it's part of me wanted to say, what are you? What is this frequency? It's like, no, the focus is us. We humans are lovely and magical. And so there's this feeling of, if you want to call it this way, help is on the way. But the help really isn't external. Of course, it all comes down to we're amazing and magical. But what do you really believe in? Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Do you believe in Kali, the goddess? Do you believe in, I don't remember any other thing, angels? Do you believe in Archangel Raziel, Ariel? Do you believe in totem animals? Do you believe in your stuff enough to get a lot of juice from it? Is your belief, is the sacredness there? And I think that we don't have intact sacredness. Whatever things we believe in, it might be piddlesticks. We might not believe in it enough. So I'm working with my own belief system and my own thing. And I'm like, whoa, super energy coming in. We need it. And it's exciting and new and it's stimulating. So this frequency is coming in, but it's saying, I am a human and I can do so much more, and I can be more than human, and I can be a superhuman, and I can have superpowers, but I need to recharge. So when I bring this frequency in, it's my way of connecting to source, and it's my way of feeling bigger, better, and cooler. Woohoo! And everybody can play with my frequency. It's everybody else's too. Or you can find your own frequency, and that's the idea. So when I see this light, the Alderbaran Stargate, it makes me look at, oh, how beautiful those trees are and how much wisdom there's in that tree, or the earth, and it makes me see higher versions of earth, and it makes me want to connect to the ecosystem in a better way that I'm able to. It makes me want to uncover what's the human potential, and it makes me want to think, I want everybody to have their sacredness and their connection and their magic. So I'm saying that's my story, that's the connection. It can work for others, or what's your story?
Wow. Okay. I have nothing to add to that. Yeah, wow. But just feeling the potency of it, like, I will just say that, like, even as you speak of it, it's almost like I can feel its energy filling me up. And I think so many of us have felt tired for so long as well. You know, we should have more energy, higher energy levels. And I don't think this is going to change overnight. But it just feels like everything is changing in an amazing way as well. Everything's having a reset. We mentioned Stonehenge and Glastonbury and the pyramids of Giza. They've all had a reset this year as well. You know, they've not had as many people going there. A lot of the places have been empty. And it's like the earth has just done this massive reset. And feeling into the energy of this Stargate, it just feels really strong, but in kind of a gentle way. If that makes sense.
Should I bring some in?
Yeah, please.
Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to bring in the frequency of the Alderbaran Stargate, which is crystalline plasma energy. And I'm looking at my 3 instruments. And I'm starting with a crystal ball, hoping that it translates sound-wise. Denise, you'll let me know? I'm going to test right now. You can hear it?
Yeah. It might be because of the mic. Bring it
farther away from the mic.
It was
too loud.
A little bit too loud.
Yeah, because here it's closer, here it's farther away.
Yeah.
How's that? It's okay?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a good level.
So I just visualize a sparkly, shiny, rainbow, holographic, metallic foil, platinum. So these are all the buzzwords that I have to grab onto this frequency. I often have the words platinum rainbow. And I also have words such as new legions of angels, or galactic angels, or just simply rays of light. So platinum rainbow ray. And all I do is I visualize that we're basking in it, sort of like suntanning, but with these galactic frequencies. And I feel that there's so much love and diversity and celebrating of diversity. Diversity of all kinds. And just this freedom of expression, freedom of being. Celebrating all of our differences and saying, thank gosh we're all so different. How boring would it be if we'd all be the same? And there are plenty of dimensions where everything is the same. So we're here just to be our weird, happy selves and to be happy. I'm going to play the crystal harp now to keep playing with the crystal fairy presence. Denise, let me know if it's too loud. So we can begin to have this platinum rainbow ray bless us. And it's non-denominational. It's about fairies. It's about all different kinds of angels, all kinds of ascended masters. It wants to love everyone. It wants to bring it in and bring it in a big, big group hug. But we can focus some of our energy on our feet and have it go up. And focus the energy on the top of our head. So through our head, we're connecting farther up above to our soul star chakra. The crown chakra is up. There could be 10 crown chakras or more, limitless, that we're connecting to our multidimensional higher selves. But then looking down at the earth star chakra, that can extend farther down into the earth, deeper into the wisdoms that we can receive like a time capsule from ancient aspects of us that have been on the earth. I want this to be short and sweet. I'm going to do one last little crystal bowl to envelop all of us if we want to play with these frequencies with a rainbow plasma, platinum rainbow encasing, enveloping blanket around our auric field. Call it upgraded multidimensional protection filter. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
So just basking in those beautiful frequencies. And feeling that there may be some language to accompany this. Unahian eren ianayo kuna molestaran ai nietatonoko. Meya meleahon are moi ale anayo nokoi. Mai hanai alean o at a. Mera ihan ord a. Me al ena on akan ost a. Hole anaya konokokoi. Elestar an ema ki na. Ol ahan ebred an uaka. Must aran it ara iaka. Molistoyan ehan al un ukoi. Kai uleranon mukona a. Komast aran iaka. Mushtera in ara un ua. Ulehyan emai unukuna a. Ule ai.
When you did that, my hands were doing something, and it felt like there was energetically, physically something there. And it felt like I was working large scale. So it's as though Earth was right beneath me, and I was huge. Obviously, I'm not by myself, I'm working with team, your team, my team. But what I saw was, where's my hands? My hands were here. I was doing this, and I was pulling something out, and it felt like a sword, but it was gunky, as though it had been full of pus for hundreds, thousands, millions of years of being somewhere contaminated. And I was pulling it out, and it was really disgusting. And I was able to pull the plug. And of course, surrounded in a green slime light and have the guides transmute it. That's their job. So I got rid of it. But it was a whole team thing. And I feel like that was related to the plasma flow ley lines of the Earth that we were talking about.
Yeah, that really resonates. Thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned the words time capsule in that. So another thing that came in when we were speaking before was of something that we had left here eons ago to be like a time capsule. Like, that's the best word to describe it, that we brought time capsules here that would be activated kind of now, in terms of we are the keys, and it's a matter of frequency and codes, and that this time capsule is part of what we're doing on Saturday as well. Kind of finding our own time capsule that is full of, like I see it being full of codes and frequencies and more keys, basically. So when we find this capsule, automatically, because of our resonance, the Earth's resonance, like all these factors, our fingerprints, whatever it is, that these capsules will be activated and picked up and giving us, my feeling is that it's, I can't think of a different word other than skills. It's almost like our skills, what we can do here and now, are going to be upgraded as well. Skills just doesn't cut it at all, but it's the nearest.
Yeah, that's the same word that I have when I'm thinking of this. Skills, abilities, talents, soul gifts, innate something something training. Skills just feels good. I mean, I don't think there's another word in the English language. So it's just the closest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that goes with that, what I was saying too. I'm like, okay, so I'm connecting to the Alderbaran Stargate. We can all play with it. Maybe we are tuning into it with different words. Maybe other people are too. But the thing of what it's saying, the Alderbaran Stargate, is it's time for us to have the energy to wake up, to find our time capsule, and to rekindle our superpowers. And the time capsule, well, actually, it could be all over. You could go to a sacred site, you could go inside yourself, or you could do both. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel to also mention the codes that have been created for this as well. So they've only so far been shared with Alessandra. No one else has seen them. I think Marianne might have seen the third code. So the first two are exclusive to this event on Saturday. And they are, so the light codes that I bring in, sometimes I'll do handwritten codes and then they get mirrored and lights added to them. And they kind of hold the original frequency, but they get other frequencies added to them. So that's the case with this one. It's actually evolved from the freedom codes that I shared yesterday, but it's got a different energy to it as well that is pertinent to this event. The second code is the light codes from that first one, and the energy from the codes is still there, but the codes themselves are not visible, but the energy is still there, but it just shows you the lights and how they work. And the third one feels to me to be the energy of a star fairy. So when I brought in codes for Marianne earlier this year, there was a whole series of these star fairies that came off them. I didn't call them star fairies then. I felt that they were fairies. And it almost looks like if you were to see a hologram in front of you that is just starting to form, that's what it feels like. It feels like the impression, the light impression, like a holographic light impression of a star fairy. There we go. So yeah, there will be some codes with this as well. And I'll just describe the words that Alessandra used. She said it was like a multifunctional machine frequency. And I really like looking at these codes. Like often with codes, I stare at them for a long time. Like I stare at them obviously as I'm working with them, but then I feel drawn to just look at them and look at them and look at them. And they're very quantum in nature. So you'll receive an activation. I receive an activation as they're coming through. I'll receive a different activation as I look at them. If I look at them a week later, a month later, a year later, I'll receive another activation. So there's a lot of energy held within the code. There's a lot of frequencies. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that, my love?
I saw the codes. I fell in love with the codes, the star language that you brought in, and there's three essentially. There's three for the event. And it's phenomenal how a visual can bring so much energy and information, and it feels like a lot of everything that we talked about today, the energy, the topic, the talking, the part that makes sense, that's 3D, the part that doesn't quite make as much sense, but is all energetic. It was in there and much more. It's like time release. It feels ancient, something about ancient, something about the Lemuria, but pre Lemuria time. And so, this, I think, what we're doing here is me and Denise and our teams are working with anybody that's tuning in and is part of this or the event. So the team is getting bigger, but we're working with our time release package treasure that it's for the collective. And that frequency is in those codes, and it's emitting and releasing, and there's some updated energy. So it's super ancient and futuristic. So that's why I said it was that multi-level machine. But it's alive in a good way. It's the good stuff, because for everything there's the good and the bad, right? In the polarity universe. So there's that, and there's this emergence. So just like us right now, we are emerging. So there's that code. So it's exciting. It's non-static. It just keeps moving and emitting. I don't know, there might be times that the code is speaking to you, and other times, if it's speaking too much, that you put it in a less active areas, but it still works. Maybe that's a crystal to shush it up a little bit, and then it reawakens. So that's how I work with some codes, because it's that, it's that type of a machine. It can be dialed to work in sleep mode. So timely. So, or everybody will work with it in different ways, receiving in dreams or in meditation or with energy healing. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on here with us. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you. And yeah, just to say, they will be in digital format. But I am looking, I did go to a printers the other day. I'm looking at the options of starting to get things printed so that I can actually, do prints. But they will be received in digital format. I keep trying to, my right shoulder is always really down and my left one is always like up here. And because StreamYard is not mirrored, it's as it is, this is me straight, and I'm pretty much straight, and I feel so lopsided. So if you've been watching me, I keep getting confused. I'm like, one shoulder's up. Is it that one? No, it's not. That one. And I keep trying to like.
Oh, it's confusing when it's not mirrored. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got like I've had a scoliosis for a while, so I'm sitting here trying to like straighten myself, which looks straight, but I feel so lopsided when I'm straight because I'm so used to being lopsided. Anyway, that's just by the by.
Now we know.
Yeah, and just to mention another thing as well that has come through for this, which is also linking in with the standing stones, particularly the standing stones here in the land of Albion. And just to share a little bit about that. So Avalon is Glastonbury. And a long time ago, this island that I am on was called Albion. And it feels like Avalon holds the energy of Albion, but it is the whole country. And it feels like that is a particular frequency of energy, and that is going to come in to this in some way as well. And it's also something to do with the emerald frequency, which to me is very heart. The emerald ray feels very heart, but it's so much more than that as well. So there's some link in with that energy with Merlin, and the standing stones as well, because it feels like they're holding a lot of codes that are ready to be released now too.
Standing stones are connected with the she fairies. The she fairies identify themselves, as they've been channeled in a few books, as connected to the stars, and You were mentioning nodule points, the nodes, the lymphatic nodes, and the nodes on Earth with ley lines. So there's some huge interconnection with everything that we're saying that sounds wacky. Lymphatic nodes, ley lines, star fairies, multidimensional self, standing stones, Albion. There's something going on, and it will make sense. But it's very pinging, ding, ding, ding. It's pinging. It's alive, and maybe we're not supposed to get it all. Maybe some people are just in love with stones, like I am, or just in love with Star Fairy, or in love with their emerging superpowers. But we're bringing it together.
Well, I'm starting to feel complete. Are you?
Yes, I do. I feel like maybe there's some sort of closing.
Do you want to just give your I'll just mention that we both shared the event. There's a Facebook event for this, and it links with your page, and it's $44 for this, which is around about 33. It's a little bit over £33, I think. Last time I looked at the exchange rate, but it will be paid in US dollars. If anyone is really called to this event, if it's calling to their heart, and they're not in a position to pay that, please get in touch with either Alessandra or myself. Yeah, do you want to say what your website is as well?
It's my name, and it's a tongue twister. It's Alessandra Gilioli at alessandragilioli.com. Alessandra, and then last name, forget about it, but it's Gilioli.com. You'll find it.
What were you thinking to close?
I think I could do a little bit of light language, but okay. Okay. All right, let's make sure that the crystal ball is here. All right, so my intention is to bring this frequency that will help us absorb and integrate all that we are to get and receive from this with ease and grace and a lot of sparkle, joy, and excitement. Is it okay like this? Koena taito laya no toetayam ko. Upuro no kena taitisim tu koena o koeno koenaitik. Kunu ko tutu. Mananatayo te no koto honai kish. Koena kete hinao kono tutu ture na taite no koena naiko. Kia no koe na taiti sunu ko na taho no ko shumena. Ke na nanai ko te haraun toki shuntuun tokenta. Kia na hana ko hushiam ai isan taiko. Karatai to no kai shantar I. That's it.
Wow. Oh, thank you. Really feeling that.
The visual that I saw with that, it felt like a bright white fairy being, and she was in the middle of standing stones. First time that I saw it that clearly, and she was really soft at first. And I don't know if she was putting us to sleep or waking us up or both. But I felt as though there was the making different aspects actually go to sleep and other things waking up. I also feel like she was talking to a big, wide audience, and that somehow, because it's light language, the things she was saying had, I saw one stream and they went, well, it was multiple streams, and it was giving different messages at the same time, like a teacher. So much love and peace and gentleness, and definitely feels like the she fairies, or what I feel the she fairies are, because there could be, we might be tuning into different things. Not you, but other people, who knows. So there's a star being she fairy concept, and in she, they are really collaborating with us. So we might find that we have bonus additional guides coming along, or whole entire teams. So it feels really like an initiation and a blessing, and kind of like a homecoming. So, and I want to add that you are in Albion. I'm not physically in Albion right
Mm.
now. You are. And so it's almost as though you were one of the standing stones,
Mhm.
right here, right now. There was that frequency of the land and the stone. And Albion, the land has a frequency, and the stones have an additional frequency, working with nodule points and ley lines. So there's a lot going on. I'm done. Goodbye. I'll stop talking.
Ah, wow, thank you. Yeah, totally in resonance with what you're saying there. Um, yeah, and just to say, the Star Fairy is kind of exclusive to this at this moment, but it will be shared. It's like a bonus on top. I was just going to share 2 codes, but I was nudged to share that as well. So, yeah. All right. Thank you, Alessandra, for joining me when we finally got it together on Love Speaks Love. And thank you to everybody who's been with us in this as well. I've been looking at the comments, but I will read them more at the end as well. Um, okay. Thank you all. I am going to end the broadcast.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Blah, blah, blah.
Ciao.